Why, hello there. All right, let's get everything squared away here. And then we'll talk about what we're going to do today. That's good. You can go away. That's good. And that's good. All right, so I had thoughts. We've got this needs to stay in here. Let's run this too. This is all sort of just things we were noodling on. I didn't have any time to work on this project over my weekend. I had a bunch of other stuff I had to get done. And yeah, so this kind of got punted to the back of the priority queue for the days. But I did have some thoughts. Okay, so we've got... Are you behaving? Okay, yeah. We've got this working. Eventually, we're going to need to have this also tell us if something has changed. And we've got that working. But I started thinking about lifting the state further. Because when we apply something here, we're also going to want this to say, hey, state has, there's unsafe changes. I'm not sure that I want to do it up here, though. I wasn't super happy with how this worked out. I mean, it's correct in this case, where it looks mostly correct, but I would like to know for sure that it is actually centered in here. So I don't love that. And we're going to have to duplicate that here. We're also going to want, like, we're just going to have too many controls going on up here. So I want to refine that a little bit, but it can stay for now. Or we could just stash it, and it could be a thing. But we have this lovely bar here, and I would love to put it to better use. And we also have... You just get put into your widgets. That's fine for this. That can go away. Okay, so... If I lift the state further, I think that's actually going to get us further in the future, too, when we start wanting to do some other stuff. Because I started thinking... Okay, yeah, you're overflowing, whatever. I started thinking about it. And maybe we can provide her from here. And then we can dig the selected stuff out of the context. We can set it. And then everything will be happy. I believe that our trouble with provider is actually because these guys aren't on the same tree. This is on a different tree, was my prob. And I don't remember exactly now because it's been a hot second, but it's something that we need to investigate. Because that would be the more correct way to go about this, I think. What did we change over here? Just set modified stuff. Okay. What do I want to do here? I think I just want to... Let's see, what did we change here? We just gave you the extra bits and pieces. Let's experiment with this. This is connection data. Why did I make the change there? Oh, we were just getting ready and keeping our changes synchronized. We're still going to need that. No, we're not. And if we lift the state, we won't. There might be some wrinkles with this, but I think we're going to do it. Let's... I'm going to check this. I'm just going to reset. I might regret that. But I'm just not happy with the way it's shaping up. Done. All that go away. Go back to where you were. We need to relaunch you, though. I guess I could have hot launched. That's fine. Build. Take us back. Okay. So. And we will take those back out again because I'm not happy with this UX either. But one thing at a time here. Let's get these things a little more fixed up. We're going to ignore you for now. Go away. Did we leave provider in? No, we took it out. Okay, that's fine. We need to get you in there, and I need to look up the version again really quick. Provider, pedal width, 6.1.5, like so. We'll pop get. Okay. Now, up here, and I also need the docs over here. Our first step, I think, is going to be getting provider to feature parity here. That's what I think. To where we can pull the data out of it. That should be all right. So... I also need... gosh. I think it was this. Was our tutorial one? Yeah. So in this case, we wrapped everything in provider. The whole widget. But in this, in the map editor case, we need to wrap this, I believe. That's the child. We do need another one of those. Like so. And you need to get imported. Not Flutter, provider. There you go. Okay, and then we need the create, which is like that. And we need up here in our example app, our tutorial app, when we use provider, we had my app state, which extends change notifier. We can just put that here, I think. We're going to call it map state. Like so. Oops, that's the wrong character. That's the character I want. Stop it. So we're going to want a selected tile. But the type of this guy isn't going to be var. It's going to be an object because it could be a room or a connection. And it's nullable. We're going to need this. And this is going to take that like so. And then we need to notify listeners here. Okay. So you need to return just a map state, a new map state, like so. Okay. Now, what was the syntax for pulling things out of you? So map pane is going to need to set it. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of this. We might as well. We need a constructor for you, I think. Are they ints? Am I making that up in my head? It is. So let's kind of keep our normal organization here. Actually, I can do this the other way. Size X, size Y. We're just going to default them to 0 if they're not provided. No. That doesn't make sense. They're just going to be required. You can't have a map state without an actual dimensions. There's no sort of functionality that makes sense in that case. So required, and then this is map controller, except for I need to label it. App controller size X. You can't be null. Size Y. Map controller size Y. Can't be null. Oops. Okay. So now when we do our map pane over here, ooh, we do still have a load map though. Does that make sense? Not really. I should just pull you over here really quick because if we're going to lift all this up here, we might as well lift the whole map state and put it into our provider. I think that makes more sense. Yeah, let's do it. So what this actually needs ooh, except for we did have trouble accessing the state from within the widget itself. Do I want to leave you in there? Let's do leave it in there to start with. So that means we don't need this. We'll just simplify it down to that for now. We can circle back to that idea if we need to. Or if we want to, kind of as we noodle this together. That's fine. The thing we need to replace is the on tile click. This we need to pull out at the top of this widget. And I need to go look at the syntax for that really quick. Where are you? You went into the other context watch, right? That's what you were. Okay, so up here in our build, we have, we'll call it map state. Context watch. And then this is map state. And we need that. Okay. You need to get imported here. You need to get imported here. And then this... is going to be a map state type. Okay. And then in our button here, which is where now? On tile click. Here, we're going to say ooh, except for you. Crap. You don't have access. Could I put you in here? In my post frame callback. And then would I be able to do and then this would be map tile here. Map pane. Oh, well, you can't be a final. You can be a late, though. Like that. There we go. And then, why aren't you defined? Put that up there just for visual organization. Why don't I have... Oh, because you're up here. Crap. Crap. This is becoming more complicated than I hoped it would be. Okay. I can still do this. But... Ooh, except for then you're not... Shit. Okay, let's roll this back a little bit here and try another answer. Let's put you back in the bum 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 bum. We're gonna put you back down here. Okay, back to where we were. And then except for I can't change the signature. Well, they're all within this class. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Except for doesn't know what they are. And the getter would have to be... That could be in here. Okay. Why didn't I... Why wasn't I able to do this? And then I don't need this at all. And everything else should be okay up to there. In theory. Now, we need to get rid of that. Get rid of that. We still have our controller. Life is good. We get rid of you as well. Okay. Now, the... in tile data, we're going to need to do the same thing here. That needs to be that. Oh, I put you in the wrong spot. There we go. That's like that. Okay. And now my selected data. We can get rid of that. Like so. This is now this. This then needs to be that. I get rid of this. I get rid of that. I don't have to null check you anymore. Which now makes this an unnecessary cast. Why don't I just go straight data with y'all? Simplify things. And then you now take this as an argument. You can't be null. We just checked you. Okay. Gonna ooh, no, I'm not, because you need to come out of there. Is everything happy, meow? I'm gonna rerun you just to be sure we get a fresh, nothing gets held onto with the hot reload. Okay. Everything's still working. Beautiful. I'm gonna be extra paranoid and stop it and then rebuild it. Because that hot reload and hot restart have tripped me up in the past. Where something just gets cached or hung onto in some way, shape, or form somewhere. Okay. Boom. Love that a lot. Less so the overflowing, but that's okay. We'll get there. Now, let's go ahead. We're going to chuck that. And I stopped it because I don't want it to continue to annoy me about the overflow. I'm going to restart it. Okay. We need to make you bigger first. That way we don't have that trub. Okay. Until we go fix it. Selected. Okay, perfect. Now, let's commit this. Because this is shaping up the way I want it to. I don't think my lock file should be committed, but I'll fix that later. Convert to using provider for map state instead of a billion callbacks. This will become a lot easier to work with, I think. Okay, next. Next thing we need to do. Okay, so now that we've lifted all that up there where it more or less belongs, our room data form here. That can still stay a value key for the UUID. That's groovy. Got too many things open. It's all right. This form. This form is also going to want to use provider. But if we have selected tile, we still need to switch to know which widget we're supposed to be feeding to the tile data. But do we care? Oh my gosh. I didn't sleep well last night, and it's catching up to me. If we don't have to feed it data, this switch can just return this guy. I don't know. If that's going to work correctly when we switch things back and forth. One way to find out, I suppose. Let's put you over here for now and just add to my collection of things that I need to go through and clean up. Tabs wise. If we do... Let's ditch all of this. And then I don't need data. Like so. Meow. So here's what I'm thinking. we do the same guy in our build. Like so. We need to import everything. That's fine. Life is good. Meow. This needs... We would need our map state to be lifted up here. Which is fine, I hope. Like so. Then you could lift up here. That becomes this. Oh, except for we didn't preserve our cast. We need that. That's fine. But the only thing we do in here, actually... Let's do a different way. Let's say... that, and then, you're not going to be map state anymore. You're going to be... current data? Then I don't need to use any of that. That needs to be that. You're not... Wait. Oh, that's because current data is the selected tile now. And I don't need that cast anymore. Duh. Okay. So that gets us that. This becomes that. We'll just run you off of that. It shouldn't change. That's still fine. This also. Like so. That runs off the editable copy as well. Our clone is still, our reset data is still that. Oh, we do still need to, I've got a, whoop, not initialized over here. We do still need to do, whoop, current data equals, context dot watch map state, and then selected tile as room data. I deleted one too many lines there. That's okay. We can fix that up like so. Okay, I've still got an error over here to do with my timing. Call before room data for, this might be, that's one of those things that tends to be a hot reload trouble, but we'll double check. Yeah, okay, still present, that's fine. Called before init state completed. this needs to be wrapped in the same the widget data frame, whatever. This guy, post loading callback. We should be able to do that and this. I think it's in here that we need to do that. Maybe. I might also have to do that. Okay. Room data form state and its state completed. I must have to do all of this inside here. Okay, now we got an error not initialized, which is fine. Something is getting set up before. This all. Wait. If I move this up here again, just for testing purposes. We'll go back in. Let's double check my understanding of this error here. Exact type, map state. Called before, room data form state init state completed. Why? Because. Because it's within here. So that's actually true. Dependent widgets reference to inherited widget is in a container or init state method. Rebuilt dependent widget will not reflect the changes in the inherited widget. Okay. So we would need to do this in the build. But then we have some trubs. Because we need our data to get cloned. We would need to basically ditch all of this, and then what would we do for guess we could say... Can't be null. Oh, because you're late. Shit. And that would cause all kinds of troubles. What do I want to do about that? Is it sufficient to move this into the here? With this out, it is. Okay. Well, at least it's somewhat acceptable. Let's reload that. Okay. We do still have a little bit of troubles. And our little bit of troubles, because I don't see connections, I bet is... in the connections. Well, no, that wouldn't... It is here. Okay. Well, no. Uniform dart. All of this gets loaded and set up before. And I don't think... And I'm pretty sure I can't... Well, this is supposed to be inside of there. This editable copy concept is kind of biting me in the butt right now. But I don't want to chuck it completely because it's how we get our basically free... Like if you click away with changes, they don't persist in memory. Nothing actually gets changed. And we started doing that because that was one of the problems. It allows us to really easily roll back and say, hey, just chuck my changes for everything. But this is going to be kind of a problem. What was the other? They gave us another option in our error message. Let's put that back there so we can get the error message again. Need to rebuild and go click it. There we go. They also said we could do inherited widgets can be placed in the did change dependencies method. Okay. Okay. We can call super on it. That's totally fine. Then we do that. And then we can do this. And then we don't need this. I have questions. Okay, promising. Come back. There you are. Okay, now we just need to get our connections fixed up. Is my... I need to debug and make sure this is getting set correctly. Okay, so we should see it come up immediately. I'm going to run again because... Oh no, that might have been the one. I would have expected that to fire twice. Let's take a look. This, editable copy. Where are you? There you are. Connections is empty. Why is connections empty? We cloned you. You shouldn't be empty. We have IDs. I'm going to want to do this differently anyway, but the empty connections is a little bit of a problem. For sure. So right meow. would like to step in, please. Our source has connections. Because I forgot to put connections in. Duh. That might have been one of the changes we made. Because I feel that sounds familiar. We do the same thing here. Connection data. Connections. Otherwise, you're null. Okay. Let's rerun that normally here. Might have been a casualty of my reset. Okay. No. Why this? Doop a doop boop boop. Come in here. This current data connections does exist. Let's step into you. I want to come down to here. Doop. There we go. Source connections is not empty. I put his empty because I'm dumb. There we go. Let's try that again, shall we? This time with less stupid. Bum, 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 bum. There we go. Perfect. All right. That gets that back in there to working order. The next thing is I need to refresh my memory on list builder. Shut up. Can I list view? List view builder. Int index item builder. So I have access to the index here. So we're going to replace this and this. Because I want everything to run off of this provider. So we're going to ditch that. The insides here. You're actually going to take an int, and this is going to be just index. That's what we're going to call you. This is required. Oh. And we're going to basically have to duplicate some stuff here. That's fine. Right now, hang on. This needs to be this. This view builder. I don't think I return you though. Oops, this is dot builder. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't return you in this syntax. But you still do require item count, which is going to be len, or no, editable copy, connections length, like so. Then we have an item builder. Build context, int, index. Like so. This is going to return a connection data form, which is going to take the index argument. Like so. Okay. Meow. Yes, I know you're going to be very angry about everything for a second. We need to do the same thing up here. Down here. Connection data. Current data, right? Okay. Meow. Override. Oop. Void did change dependencies. Excuse me, get down there. That, like so. We're going to do the same thing here where our current data is context watch app state dot selected tile as room data. Well, that's not necessarily true. Let's do my imports real quick. I'm going to have to define an interface for this. Trying to avoid that, but I probably should have. So we're going to put you in here with the rest of your friends. This is just going to be the map tile base. And then I got to remember, let's try to remember it's abstract class map tile, and then the thing that this must all have, and in all cases it should be connections. Tile data. Oh, that's not true, though. You just need to... Well, hang on. We need room tile and... I have so many things open right now. Where did my horizontal connection tile? Tile data in both cases, but this is a room data. And this is a horizontal connection model. Okay, here we go. This has a list of connections. How do I want to do this? Because index is also not correct in this case. I could still pass it the connection itself, I suppose. But maybe I don't want this to use the provider. Maybe I'm okay with the tile widget because it's only the child of these things. This has tile data. Let me check this. This can go away. What are you mad about? Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fine. But we can just use a callback here. I think I'm okay with that. That's going to be the most sane way, I believe. Do that. Let that clean it up. Okay. So instead of this, because this is room data form only, connection data form, data is editable copy connections index. Still use that. No, I can't. Oh, because a list view. Yeah, okay. That's why we weren't using a list view before. Fine. This will be switching back to editable copy connections. Okay. Re-import you. Okay. And we'll still have for you a callback that we will need to add that'll be operated on in here, which is fine because that's going to depend, like what gets changed will kind of depend on this widget, I think. This guy is supposed to be reusable. This guy is what's specific to what we're clicking on, which is kind of bypassing some difficulties in being generic with the different types of tile because they're very different creatures under the hood. A room data actually is where the only place where the connections really live. The connection tiles are cosmetic, but should still allow you to edit those connections that they represent just because it makes sense to a human brain looking at this thing. You don't need to know that they're smoke and mirrors. It'll make your life easier if you don't. Because you won't get confused like I just did. I think I'm done with this for now. There we go. Okay. Let's go. Tidy that up a little bit so I can see things a little better. That can go away for now. I'm done with you for just this second, I think. I don't want to make you overflow. I just want to scooch that so I can see what's up over here and see that, like, right now, no, you're not overflowing. Shut up. There we go. I was dropping some frames, which I could now see, but I'm back. Okay. So let's commit this. So tile data and room data form. Well, it's really just room data form. Convert that to use. Let's see, so we've got tile, room model. Yes. Well, actually, hang on. Map editor, map, room model. We'll add you first, just for the sake of history if I have to roll back through it to read. Add missing connection objects to clone function. And then the rest, we can say vert room data to use provider room data form. Okay, that'll do that for right meow. The next thing is, I'm thinking that how am I going to This is too big. You can go back over there for a second. Give me a little more breathing room. I'm done with this for now. I think I was just referring to it anyway. I just need to tidy up my space here. Connection data, map pane, room template form, map controller. We're not messing with verticals right now. Okay. Little sanity. If I can do the load logic in here. And the other thing I got to think about is eventually I'm going to need to load a second map so that you can connect them correctly. Because we're going to need to do that. That's going to be the next big task, which is actually, I believe, the task that set us down the rewrite method or the rewrite rabbit trail, because everything was broken when we updated the old UI framework. Because we were going to have to make the editor capable of handling this idea too. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I do want to kind of think about that. The UI for it, that's fine. We just need like an icon for a transit to another map. No problem. We're going to put that in the map tile itself, the room tile itself. But if I was to pop up like a destination in a modal that made you select the map, it could load the map, it could put the map in a copy of this widget in there and then get rid of it as soon as it's done. That way it doesn't stick around. That would be kind of good, I think. Yeah. Which would get a whole lot easier if, because we're going to have to save to there. So we're going to need like a temporary second map controller. Maybe it doesn't matter where we put this, because we use provider to get in there. And maybe the correct place to drive these changes is in fact from the map pane. Maybe that's all right. Let's leave it. I think I'm going to leave it for now. We can always revisit it later. But we do need to figure out our setting of things that have been modified. Actually, before we do that, really quick, I want to come in here and refix this the this needs to go away, because that's just clutter. If you want to delete them, expand them, deal with it. And I'm gonna do this. Move. Collapsed connection. Delete. Button. Too much clutter. You're not overflowing. Stop it. Stop whining. Okay. The callback is going to handle that part for us. Inside of this form. So, we still need to do that part. Yeah, I am. Okay. I was making sure that when I toggled between rooms, that was still reloading to the different data. So this should be 1-1. It is. And I come here, it's 3-2. Perfect. Okay. I've wired that all up correctly. Without using the key value, which is nice. Or the UUID as the key. Value key. There's the word I'm looking for. It's in there somewhere. Okay. So, this is no longer accurate. We need oh yeah, the connections. That was kind of still a problem. They were kind of trying to get around with this, but oh, I forgot about that. I mean, the other thing we could do... Well, we can't. We can't put you into the provider because you're going to be different. We could ditch the copy. So that's just modifying the room data. Because it's going to be working off of the editable copy here. So as long as we flag correctly, or I guess we could double up on provider maybe? But then we get into ye old trouble where we'd have to track what we're doing with regard. We have so many different. Well, I guess maybe not. If the provider in this case, and this reaches up and just finds the provider, as long as the provider is the same in anybody, it should still be able to find it. So we'd probably want to put that provider outside of this room data form. That would give us the ability to muck about with the data underneath this widget in a sane way, I think. That is a yes. So I would wrap this guy is what would happen. And I could put you in here, I suppose. And then I just need to intelligently put these things in here. They're not going to be huge. We could just use a list. It should be fine. Let's noodle that a little bit further down towards a solution, because I do like the idea. It solves a lot of difficulty. And would simplify this widget kind of a lot. And then I could do maybe I could do a list view. Can I look at this really quick as I kind of think through this? Because list view is going to be a problem because it's a scrollable. It's going to have unbound height because everything else is that way. We still do want to relocate the save button. That's a future me problem. Just as I start thinking about, you know, places the things need to live. The Flutter this view disable scroll. I would need to do, hey, a raid. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, my camera's gone all blurry. Thank you, Olex the Dev. I'm not familiar with you, sir. What are you up to? How was your stream? What were you working on? Let me fix this really quick. Do that. There we go. Coding my C++ Diablo-like with hot chicks. Okay, excellent, excellent. How'd it go? Over here, I'm building a mud engine, and specifically today, well, for a while now, I'm building an editor for the map so that you can make maps and not deal with JSON files that have a lot of complication and are hard to work with, but represent the data nicely. So that's what we're doing. It's going one day at a time? Yes. I feel that in my bones. How am I? Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. A little bit tired, but a little while longer. We'll poke at this. figure out how I want to handle all this different state flying all over the place. Okay, so I was thinking of wrapping this in a provider. Oh yeah, I was looking, I got totally distracted. I want to not scroll the list view. I was too lazy to build a nice editor, so I suffer with saving my maps into JSON so far. Yep. Uh-huh. The pain is real. It took me like an hour to build a 3x3 test map for my test, for the model on marshalling it into Dart. So I was like, that was like a reinforcement of, yeah, I definitely need this editor. I want, and the answer might just be that I 4i this. That might be, I don't want to scroll or disable scrolling with touchscreen. I want it to not scroll at all. Let's look at the docs. Custom scroll view, but I think that's still going to be a problem because it's still going to be an expanded under the hood, I think, which is still going to have my unbound height problem, which I don't want to mess with. I want you to just be happy and good. So yeah, okay. We're going to not worry about that part. We'll 4i it if we have to so that we can pass in an index for the thing we're referencing. Think. Only one way to find out. Change notifier provider. I need to look up that syntax again because I've already forgotten it. That's correct. Create just needs, boop, over here with you. Nope, not you. You are the child widget. Let's close our paren before we get lost. And then you're going to return, and I needed to make you are connection state. Yeah. And that's going to look a lot like you. Extends, change notifier. Okay. You're going to have connection data list here, which will be just connections. That's fine. And we probably actually want to initialize you to an empty list at the start of your existence. And then we're going to need I could do this. And I probably do need to do this. Yeah, I can call you delete. That's fine. And I think I can get away with that. Mostly I just need it for the sake to wire this up for the sake of the notify listeners part. because that is going to be kind of important. Connection. State. Change notifier. But you are. It's because I need to import you. And I'm in room data form. Which lives there in widgets for you. So it's going to be oh, okay. Let's we need to rename that. It's already taken. Call you that. That. Now we're happy with that. Okay. What has gone wrong here? Did I lose a bracket? I did lose a bracket. I gained a bracket. Okay. Now that we have that in there, down here when we do our this and we create our clone, we could also probably do actually, could I do well, then I'd have to type switch because let's just do this. Connections, add the list, but we need to expand it. Do I need to do that the other way around? No. There's a different add all. That's what it is. We still need to notify listeners. Okay. Let's actually make this set connection list. So when we do this, we can do that. That's fine. Probably should do you in set state just to be sure. Except for we also need This then needs to be this sort of a syntax instead. We're going to call you constate is going to equal you or return you like so. We need this will run on the start. I don't know if I can get away with this or not. We also want to do the same thing here. That. This should actually be inside set state, I'm pretty sure. And I don't know if that's going to bite me in the butt, and it does. Constate has not been initialized at this point. Okay, so we can't do it here. That's okay-ish, I think. But goodness, that's a lot of red. It's not going to show up in my UI. It does. Oh, it does because we're still using the old, yeah. This should be fine here still. But here, this needs to be the connections here. Like so. Helps if I forget or don't forget that. That. Okay, so constate has not been initialized. Oh, oh, you should be. Because you get set up in build. How do you think you're not initialized yet? Here. And it may be that this is a dumb idea. Fully prepared for that to be the case. But why wouldn't you be initialized at this point? Given that you're inside of build. That's very confusing. I mean, it could just say, there's no... It would be, did mount... Check if late var was initialized. Not possible. Okay. Avoid them if you need to check if they're initialized. Alrighty then. Touche, Dart. Touche. That's unfortunate. Okay. This just becomes more painful if we try to do it this way. Let's roll that out. Let's chuck you into the trash. We can still do... You just take data, and we'll make you a really, really dumb widget. As far as, like, your capabilities go. We're going to get rid of this and that. You still have expanded. So we won't need that. This is all just going to become the data we feed in here. Except for that's going to be widget data. This is going to be widget data. We're not going to track that anymore. We still need you to be stateful because of the clicking and the other widgets that are going to live inside of you. Mustache hair just fell off into my mouth. Cool. But we're just going to modify the data directly here. It's going to be tracked. Its changes will be tracked over here in our room form. That's what we're going to do. This is a template form, not... I have lost my... You're where it lives. Room data form. Here we go. Okay. Let's fix this up real quick. I won't need that anymore. I won't need you anymore. Which actually means I won't need this container at all anymore. I won't need the refresh icon anymore. Or the apply. I'm just going to need the reset down here. So I can probably get rid of that. I can get rid of everything but delete forever. And then you, I won't need reset data in this widget. We're going to let the parent run that for us. Okay. The other thing... because we don't have provider to help us out here, I'm done with that. Let's that go away. Let's have you come up. I still need to get my unsafe changes in someplace else, but actually maybe we can put it down. We'll think about that. But the reset data here. I think that's actually okay as it is. If I was to, like, say, come in here and delete some crap. Ooh, that does not. As soon as we change anything like this, it should... No. Oh. Well, no, because we set the text. That should change that. We're going to have to chase that down, too. But... this one's going to need some callbacks. It's going to need... an onChanged. That. And let's just do that one for right meow. This... actually, can we do... this? No, not that. Yeah, this... what if we tried that really quick? This guy. Super call, and then... theoretically... let's spell it correctly. Theoretically, we should be able to get away with that, I think. Except for we can't. Interesting. Why don't you pick that up? I think... the other thing we could do is we could maintain this as a separate list and modify that list. Because this didn't help us, well, actually, hang on. Let me just make sure that nothing got hung on to. It's not a hot load sort of trouble. So, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that didn't get changed. Let's roll that back. That still goes away. That goes in there still. Okay, make sure to hot rebuild. We'll do this again. We'll go blah blah oop. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, that doesn't, like, this data changes, not that crap. That's why we were thinking about trying to lift up all these text controllers. But that sucks. That sucks real bad. Okay. If we do that again, and then we base U on just connections, that's still that. What we do here is in here, we set those, and then we say that the connections equals editable copy dot connections. But this needs to be this. And then we also need to do the same thing anytime we reset the data. Like so. What do we think about that? That's in set state. That's in set state. Okay. And if we do this, okay, and then put some junk in there. That's deeply annoying. Oh, actually, that's editable copy connections. Okay, so we need to debug, and I need to see when I do a reset here, the easiest way probably. I need to see if I'm just messing up and it's still the same reference, or if things are going cray-cray. So, we'll come in here, we'll do the same thing, we'll just add some junk. I'll hit refresh, boom, we come down here. In here, we can look at our editable copy. Its connections, the first one has junk in the data. Okay, perfect. The current data, connections, the first one has junk in the data. It's not deep copying them. Okie dokie. It's still the same reference. So that's a problem for me. and might be the cause, the root cause of my misery here with this. When I clone you, what I need to do here is loop. Probably in both of these cases, but can I map over you? Would that be acceptable? And I needed to list you at the end here. This just needs to return not that connection data clone the con. Like so. Let's run this. Bum, 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 bum. And we'll make sure to do this over here if we have to as well. Okay. All right. I really hope that these... Come on. Stop freaking out. I hope those are not... Those are debug mode only issues. Okay, so we got that, and then I click on... Okay, so that's still not changing them. Which is problematic, but... Let's actually break here. So when I do this... I can take a look. So current data, connections 0, does not have that junk data in there. Okay. Let me go back to refresh that all. Okay, so here we'll do that. We'll do this. We do this again. Connections of current data. That still has you. Why didn't you get cloned? Editable copy should have that. It doesn't. Why do you not have junk in your... Editable copy connections? What's going on? You were cloned up here, right? From data, clone the current data. That's editable copy. We do the same thing here. We clone current data into editable copy. How do you end up? I did hot restart you, right? I'm not crazy? Make sure. Womp womp womp. Refresh. Editable copy. Connections at 0. No junk. Current data. Connections 0. No junk. Okay. And yet, form's still dirty. Okay. But we can try this again because we made a change. But it did change dependencies. Super, and then our set state. We'll just comment you for a second. Done with that. Do a full rebuild. Okay, yeah, whatever. I need to fix that eventually too. All right, so if I go into 2.1 and I go put junk in and I go someplace else, you don't... It's deeply frustrating. Okay. So the other thing we can go back to trying really quick is to... We already set that up there still. We'll drive you off of connections. We'll reset you based on connections. Because we're running off of editable copy, it should be okay. I wonder if... it's because... Well, that stuff reloads, though. It's this damned text controller is what it is. It's causing me unhappiness. As is that annoying render or overflow error messaging that keeps coming back. Okay. So... let's go with... let's check this. It's not helping us. That's based on widget data. It's in init state. What would be telling Flutter that you need to be... well, the other ones worked, though. which makes me more confused about why putting in did change to, what were you? Yeah. What if little good old print debugging here? What if we put you back in here just to be sure that it's firing when I think it is? Because maybe I'm doing this wrong. It's entirely possible. Back into map editor. Ugh. Yes, I know. Okay. Wow, doesn't really matter. It didn't fire. Oh. I wonder if it doesn't recognize that it's changed that underlying data. Ugh, that's annoying. Okay. We'll put you back. We'll ditch you again. Init fire. So I click on a thing. Init never fires. Okay. Is this... isn't valid. Oh, it's because I'm missing the param, I think. The param should be, you know, open this again. Old widget. Okay. Which should be that. Are you this instead? It is. Okay. That. Okay. Okay. Then chuck that in there. Comment you out. That. Okay. So a couple times it gets updated. I click on a thing. And it gets updated. It fires 5 times because 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 fields. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 5 times. So why is it firing 5 times? Anywho, if I chuck some junk in there, hit refresh, that cleans it up. But we want to be a little smarter about it. So wah 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 resets it. A little puzzled about the count still. But also wah 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 wah. That fixes that. And if I make sure nothing is being cached or stored or hung on to, okay. Let's can I get away with that? If I do that. To be a little bit smarter about when I do this. Okay, yeah, you overflow. Shut up. So if I come in here, oop, that did not work because we took it out of init state as well. If I click on a new one, it'll fill in. Still fires a bunch of times though. Why is this? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 now. Why would that be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm kind of sus on this being the correct answer. Let's do this before I forget. We're going to map over you as well. ID like so. To list. Oh, do I have... I can't do that. It might be okay, though. Because they're just IDs, and we're not going to change them unless we actually add or remove an item. Maybe we can get away with just this. For this one, let's actually, before we forget, add you, clone the connection data list. We have a deep copy. We do need to make sure that stays, whatever we decide to do about this mild disaster here. Okay. Let's get rid of that. We'll put you back to that. Let's get that. How do I want to handle this? We don't want it to be a unique key, because then anytime this widget gets changed, it's going to end up clearing them. We already went down that path. We know it hurts. We've confirmed that it hurts, I guess I should say. The making the intermittent struct that this thing, not really a struct, but a class that we can manipulate from over here worked, kind of. We also have to think about what happens when we switch back, or we move over, rather, to the other tile types, because they don't have this list. It's a different creature. Oh, you know what? I'm stupid. I think. We already have this. We don't need a second provider. Duh. We can just do this here. We don't want you to be nullable, so we can just initialize you to empty. We can do this. Like so. Like so. And then we'll need how do we want to do this? Well, let's tie it up into getting it working first, before we worry about. So we're still kind of feeling our way through how we want to do this. This becomes that. But do I want to do it that way? My concern is that we don't want to modify this data underneath the hood until we apply it in here. Now, we could clone them up, I suppose. As part of our change here. We would also want to have a state in here which is fine. Oop. We look for your context like so, and then we can do that just for convenience. We need to then set connections to that. And we do that here as well. And then we do that. Map state has not been initialized, but it should have been. This, I think, is a hot reload issue. And then I might even be able to get away with not having this inside of set state or marks need build called during build. Why would that be? Oh, because that needs to be up here, I think, in both cases. Let's try that again. Let me make sure that's not old. No, it's still. Why would that be? Ugh. Let's rethink this a little bit. Back that out, return you. I'm still not sure how I want to do this part. I guess when I select, I could build connections there. But I'd have to switch the type here, which is probably fine. I'll have to think about that a little bit. That would probably be the more correct way. Because we really want this state to be up. Up, damn you. But yeah, I think I'm going to call it a night for now. But we'll raid out if there's anybody cool around to raid. Let's see. Oh, Zed's on. We can raid Zed. Zed's rad. But yeah, thanks for coming to hang out. Thanks for the chats. It was good to see you guys. It was good to meet some of you. Glad you came to check out what I was doing. If you like this kind of thing, I do it for roughly 2 hours a night, 4 days a week usually, starting Friday, ending on Monday. So come back here tomorrow at roughly 8 Central, and I should be doing some more, and I'd love to see you again. And if not, then you guys have yourselves a great weekend anyway, and let's go check out what Zed's doing. We'll start up that raid. Thanks again, everybody.